Okay, we are beginning our discussion right now with a specific focus on life sciences, and we shall be looking at chapter 1, the DNA, the code of life. We understand that all living organisms contain both DNA, which stands for deoxyribonucleic acid, and RNA. But this is like all living organisms. This is extremely important. Humans contain this, but not only essentially humans, but animals, etc. So they contain both the RNA and DNA, and the RNA stands for ribonucleic acid. We focus on their location, the structure, and the function to say what do they do, what is the function, but how do they look like, the structure, but where are they in the human body, in the animal body. So we explore the discovery of DNA, its role in the human body, and how it replicates because it multiplies, and that is replication. And so we look at how these multiplies. Okay, so these are the kinds of things, but focus on also what we call protein synthesis is vital for life. We examine how proteins are formed by both RNA and DNA. Proteins are formed in the human body, but we need to we need to explore how proteins are formed. That is synthesis by both the RNA and the DNA. We proceed to analyze these in detail. Okay, now, but first we need to do some revision because the notion of cells is extremely important here. So our revision focuses on right here is Ayade. Right. So there has to be a revision of what you call the cellular revision of what you call the cellular structure. Right. So now we have a revision of the cellular structure in terms of the study of the RNA and DNA at cellular level. It is important. Right, we noted that it is extremely important. Right, it is extremely important to know the location, and functions. Right, it's extremely important to know the location and functions. Right. Okay. The location and functions of certain there are certain things that we call the organelles. Organelles. Right, so, and these obviously will be illustrated for our purpose. Will be illustrated in figure 1. This will be illustrated in figure 1 for our purpose. Right, figure 1 is going to be exactly below. So what we have is the structure here. Right, and it does just like so. And we have this structure. And this goes like so. Like so. Okay. And these would go down. Goes like further down, and this opens like in a symmetrical manner, like so. So it's sort of symmetrical. All right. And this one goes like down. And moreover, this goes further down. Like so. And what you then have is this goes just like so, and it actually closes in here a little bit. And then this one is, there's a little gap here. And then now in here we have the, like these little things here. And here we have a little circle. And then here we have a little pond-like structure. Right, like so. And then we have here a little bag-like structure. Like so. And then here we have a little structure like that. The little dot-like symbols here on the body. And these are random. A little pond-like structure. And here you have a little structure. All right, so you have this here. Right. And then inside here, we have a little structure here. And then you have a structure that sort of right. And then this is there's some like waved aspects here. And then what we have is are the following labels. So the empty space or the space inside there is called the cytoplasm. And now there is okay. Right. So, and obviously here there are certain things we call the things that are like little dots. And those little dots that obviously we can see all over, but now we've circled them here or encircled them. They are called the polysomes. And then you have these little structures here that look like a little canal. And now these little things that are attached. And also the spread out towards the cytoplasm, but these are called the ribosomes, but you shall look at them in detail. And then we also have the substance that is inside here. Right, the substance that's inside here, that region. Or this is actually called the nucleus that's there. Pretty much at the center, it's called the nucleus. And what is this structure? So we call this figure 1. And figure 1 is called the structure of a cell. Okay, it's called the structure of a cell. Okay, we are yet to look at this structure in detail, but this is just the revision of what we call the cellular structure. But now we're going to discuss parts of the cellular structure. What is this? What is a cytoplasm? In other words, they can ask you in the exam to define a cytoplasm. What is a cytoplasm? Is the base. Is the base substance in which the organelles of the cell are suspended. Okay. There is a base substance in which the organelles of the cell are suspended, and that is called the cytoplasm. So they can ask you to define cytoplasm, or they can say match column A with B. But let's say more about what a cytoplasm does, or what it is. It is a watery substance. What is a cytoplasm? I was trying to describe it here. So to somebody who is learning life sciences, it is a watery substance and allows for metabolic reactions. To take place. Is the base substance in which the organelles of the cell are suspended. But what is it actually? And how does it look like? It is a watery substance and allows for metabolic reactions to take place. This watery substance allows for what we call the metabolic reactions to take place or to occur. We mentioned the word ribosomes. What are ribosomes? Because they want to ask you this. What are ribosomes? Well, we note that ribosomes are small. They're not too large. They are small, round organelles, which are mainly found attached to the endoplasmic reticulum or are free floating. Free floating in the cytoplasm. Okay. The ribosomes themselves. Let's say more about ribosomes. Can also be found inside. Right, they can also be found inside other organelles. Right, such as the chloroplast. The chloroplast and mitochondria. But in smaller numbers. In smaller numbers. Let's say more about the ribosomes. Ribosomes themselves, basically, they are the site. They are the site of protein synthesis. So in other words, they can ask you to say, where does protein synthesis happen? So in other words, we have said that these ribosomes are the site of protein synthesis. Protein synthesis, and these ribosomes consist of the RNA and protein. Okay, the nucleus. The nucleus controls all of the cell's activities. The nucleus controls all of the cell's activities. Let us speak a little bit about the parts of the nucleus. Parts of the nucleus. Right, parts of the nucleus. And then now you have a little round structure here. Okay, little dots. What are these little dots that I've just marked here on? This is figure 2. And figure 2 has parts of the nucleus. And here there are these little things. What do you call them? These little dots. They are pores, this, and we call them the nuclear pore. Each one of them is a nuclear pore. Okay, and but also there's something called the nucleolus. Something called the nucleolus. There is a covering layer that is like the blanket, and it's called the nuclear membrane. Okay, the nuclear membrane is like the skin of the nucleus. It's called the skin of the nucleus. It's called the nuclear membrane, like the human skin of a person. And then there is this substance that is inside the nucleus. Is called the nucleoplasm. Nucleoplasm, because the nucleus is not empty inside. It has some substance inside, and the stuff inside, the fluid inside, is called the nucleoplasm, the substance that is inside there. Okay, but also as we're studying the nucleus and we're studying the basis of life sciences, a nucleus itself has 4 main parts. A nucleus itself has 4 main parts. What are the parts of what we call a nucleus? Part number 1, because they can ask you to tell the parts of a nucleus. The double nuclear membrane. The double. Okay, if I lose you, try to join again, please. Nuclear membrane. The double nuclear membrane. So now we are speaking about the double nuclear membrane. Okay. Okay, then what does it do this? It encloses the nucleus. Goodness me. Yes, the nucleus. And contains small. It contains small pores to allow. What are the pores for? Because this has what you call the nuclear pores. The pores of the nucleus, what is the function of them? And we give the function here in this sentence. And it contains small pores to allow for the passage of substances in and out of the nucleus. So we are saying the passage of substances in and out. So how do the substances move in and out of the nucleus? So, you know, these substances move in and out of the nucleus through the nuclear pores. So now the double nuclear membrane, what does it do, this double nuclear membrane? It encloses the nucleus and contains small pores. What are these small pores for? They allow for the passage of substances in and out of the nucleus. The nucleoplasm. What is the function of the nucleoplasm? This is a jelly like fluid. Is a jelly like fluid within the nucleus. Within the nucleus. Right, the nucleoplasm. This is a jelly-like fluid within the nucleus. What about the nucleolus? The nucleolus. That is like at the center, we saw the nucleolus here. The nucleolus here. This is like, this structure looks like the globe, the globe which represents the Earth, and has the sun. Okay, so if you're speaking about the universe, the sun, etc., or if even you speak about the earth itself and the core, the centermost part, something like that. So you would say, if you have the nucleolus, let's speak about the nucleolus now. We've spoken about the nucleoplasm to say, what is the nucleoplasm? What is it? This is a jelly-like fluid within the nucleus. That's what a nucleoplasm is. But also the nucleolus, that is almost a center-like substance. What is it? Okay, so we are speaking about the nucleolus. What is the nucleolus? This nucleolus is a dark, it's a dark body. What is a nucleolus? That is the question, because they can ask you to define a nucleolus. What is it? Okay. What is it? It's a dark body suspended. Suspended in the nucleoplasm. Suspended in the nucleoplasm, which contains, yes, free nucleotide. Bases. And produces ribosomes. Okay. Now, we mentioned three of them. Up to now, we mentioned what we call the nucleolus. Being a dark, what is a nucleolus? What is it? It's a dark body suspended in the nucleoplasm, which contains free nucleotide bases and produces ribosomes. There's something we call the chromatin network. the chromatin network. What is the chromatin network? To start with, it is found in the nucleoplasm. Contains the DNA, which forms the chromosomes. Containing the genetic code of a person or organism. Okay, so obviously this point was speaking about the chromatin network. The chromatin network. What is the function of the chromatin network? We realize that the chromatin network found in the nucleoplasm contains the DNA, which forms the chromosomes containing the genetic code of a person. So the chromatin network is found in the nucleoplasm and contains the DNA, which forms the chromosomes containing the genetic code of a person or organism. The structure of nucleic acid. The structure of nucleic acid. The structure of nucleic acids. What is the structure of nucleic acids? Let's discuss the structure of nucleic acid. But first, as we discuss the structure of nucleic acids, let's discuss what we call the key terminology. Let's discuss key terminology. The idea of what we call the nucleic acid. The nucleic acid is a type right? Nucleic acid is basically a type of organic compound. Organic compound. So in other words, if somebody asks you to say, what is a nucleic acid? What is it? It's a type of organic compound. Somebody asks you, what is a monomer? What is a monomer? A monomer basically is a building block. Building block. And then somebody asks you, what is a nucleotide? What is a nucleotide? Okay, so obviously nucleotide is the monomer. Is a monomer. So in other words, this monomer is a building block. It's like a brick. Monomer is a building block. A building block is like a brick. So a nucleotide at this point is the monomer which forms The monomer which forms DNA and RNA. The monomer which forms DNA and RNA is called the nucleotide. So these basically are nothing other than just key terminology. They're basically key terminology. Now, the couple of things we need to focus on here, there are two types of nucleic acids. There are two types of nucleic acids in the human body. DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid. Okay, there are two types of nucleic acids in the human body. Okay, what are the types of? There are two types in the human body. Two types. But now, the DNA, which is the deoxyribonucleic acid, and RNA, which is the ribonucleic acid. Together, these form the basis of all life. Of all life on earth. And they basically, they consist of monomers. And these monomers, like we said before, are building blocks. Called nucleotides. Now, the basic structure of a nucleotide is illustrated in figure 3. Below. Each nucleic acid is composed of a Phosphate. P. P stands for phosphate. Each nucleic acid is composed of a phosphate P, a sugar molecule, S. S stands for a sugar molecule, and a nitrogenous base. And a nitrogenous base. Right, so we have this structure. So we have S here, and you have P here. Phosphate and sugar. The sugar molecule, but also here there is we have the NB. NB. Okay, obviously we have the key. And the key is that the P stands for basically what we call the phosphate group. Phosphate group. Phosphate group. S represents called a sugar molecule. NB represents what we call a nitrogenous base. Now, this figure 3, what is this figure about? What is this thing here? What is all this? What is all this? So this is figure 3 in our case, and this is what we call a nucleotide. It's a nucleotide. And this is the basic structure of what we call a nucleotide. Okay. What is a nucleotide? We said that the basic structure of a nucleotide is illustrated, but we said that they consist of monomers building blocks, which are called nucleotides. What actually consists of the monomers? They are basically the two types of nucleic acid in the human body. What are the nucleic acids? What are the nucleic acids in the human body? They are just DNA and RNA. But now this DNA and RNA, they have like building blocks in them, bricks that form them. They are formed by monomers, and they consist of monomers. And these monomers, the building blocks, the bricks, are called nucleotides. And the basic structure of a nucleotide is this one here. So we really are getting to deep into what forms the human body. From just seeing the muscles and the arms and the head and the body, we are really saying what is in the human body. And we are looking further at cellular level. Okay, now let us have a brief discussion about the DNA now and understand the DNA a little bit more. So we shall be focusing for a little while now, at what we call the DNA. And the DNA, what does DNA stand for? It stands for what we call the deoxyribonucleic acid. Deoxyribonucleic acid. Deoxyribonucleic acid. Right. Deoxyribonucleic acid. So moving forward now, there are certain key terminology. Let's look at the key terminology. Key terminology. Let's look at the DNA. DNA. Let's speak a little bit about this. The deoxyribonucleic acid is made up of nucleotides. Nitrogenous base. Nitrogenous bases. Adenine. The thymine. Or the thymine. And the guanine. Or guanine. And cytosine. And cytosine. Let's say more about DNA. What does it do? It carries the genetic code. Carries the genetic code for protein synthesis. Okay, so the DNA carries the genetic code for protein synthesis. Okay. What about RNA? Okay, let's speak about the nuclear DNA. Nuclear DNA. This is DNA found in the nucleus. This is DNA found in the nucleus. What is nuclear DNA? It's a type of DNA. If somebody asks what is DNA, we have said what DNA is. But what is nuclear DNA? What type of DNA is nuclear DNA? So it is DNA that is found in the nucleus, and that is called DNA. What about the extranuclear DNA? It's another form of DNA. So there are varieties of this DNA. There's something called the extranuclear DNA. What is it? This extranuclear DNA is DNA found outside Is DNA found outside of the nucleus? DNA found outside of the nucleus. Mitochondrial. Mitochondrial and chloroplastic. The chloroplastic DNA. There's something called the double helix. Double helix. What can you say about the double helix? This refers to the shape. What is a double helix? What is a double helix? Double helix, what is it? It is the shape of DNA. The shape of DNA consists, right, the shape of DNA consists of two strands. Consists of two strands joined together. Joined together and twisted spirally. The idea of what you call the double helix. And you have the extra nuclear DNA. You can see that in view of the extra nuclear DNA, a couple of things remain extremely important when you speak about the extra nuclear DNA. The double helix is the shape of DNA, consists of two strands that are joined together and twisted spirally. Hereditary. Hereditary or hereditary. Hereditary or hereditary. What is all this? Obviously, this refers to genetic information passed on from parent to offspring. Hereditary is genetic information passed on from parent to offspring. What is hereditary or hereditary? It refers to genetic information passed on from parent to offspring. So there's genetic information that is passed on from parent to offspring, and that's called hereditary. So it's just genetic information that is passed on from generation to generation. Now we answer the question, where is the DNA actually? Where do we find it? Where is the DNA located? So here we speak about the location. the location of DNA. Where is it? Is it in the leg? Is it in the eye? Is it in the arm? Where is it in the human body? So we answer that question. DNA is found where in the body? Okay, DNA is found in two locations. Is found in two locations. In a cell. Is found in two locations. In a cell. Where in a cell do we find the DNA? Mostly in the nucleus. In the nucleus of a cell. Okay, we have said that is found in the nucleus of a cell. And this is referred to as nuclear DNA. Okay, there is nuclear DNA. What kind of DNA are we talking about here? So if we're speaking about the nuclear DNA is referred as nuclear DNA is mostly in the nucleus of a cell, nuclear DNA. Okay, and we are mentioning that one. But also there is a small amount. A small amount. Right, so a small amount is found outside the nucleus. So there is a type of DNA that is found in the nucleus, but there is a small amount that is found outside. The one that is found outside the nucleus, it is referred to as extranuclear. Extranuclear. DNA. There are two types. Two types. Of extranuclear DNA. There are two types of extranuclear DNA. These small amounts, what are they? There's what you call the chloroplastic. Chloroplastic DNA. What is the chloroplastic DNA? Okay, this one is found in the chloroplasts of plant cells. In the chloroplasts of plant cells. Mitochondrial. Mitochondrial DNA. Where there's a type of DNA that is called mitochondrial. There is another one that is chloroplastic. Obviously, we are speaking about the two types of extracellular DNA, of extranuclear DNA. Mitochondrial DNA is a type of DNA. So there's also chloroplastic DNA. Let's speak about the mitochondrial DNA. It's found in the mitochondria. Mitochondria useful for tracing. Is useful for tracing ancestry. Useful for tracing ancestry. So you can use this one to trace the ancestors of a person. So these are the kinds of things. So if you speak about the chloroplastic DNA, the mitochondrial DNA is found in the mitochondria and useful for tracing. So the mitochondrial DNA is the one that is used to determine the ancestors of a person. Now, let us speak about the structure. Let us speak about the structure of DNA. What is the structure of DNA? The structure. The structure of DNA. How does it look like, this structure of the DNA? How does it look like this? Okay. So we have this. Okay. And then can allow a band-like structure here. And then now there's another one that's like woven like this. And then it goes like this. Okay. Now, okay. Now I'm going to have this one here. I have a little stick here. And then you have a little stick here. And then you have a little sticky that's like a sawtooth. And then you have like green. And then you also have red. And then you have the green. And then you have red. Like here. And then you have like red. And then you have like green. Yes. And then you have like blue. And then you have like this. And then like that. Okay. This woven structure. And then here you have like green. Um, make it green. I know this is not very clear. And then you have blue. And then you have yellowish, blue. And then you have okay, and then you have red. Okay, we have these things that are like interlocking. We shall mention what's happening here. This interlocking, you don't need quite to be seeing clearly, but they're like different colors that are mapped to each other. You have yellow here, like some orange color, and then blue. Uh, uh, and then you have green, red, okay, and then red, and then green, like so. Okay, they are interlocking like that. But what are these things that are like interlocking? Obviously, this is the structure of the DNA. That's like a double helix. And then now we call this, let's call it, let's give it a name. So we will call this one figure 4A. And figure 4A is the DNA double helix. Double helix. And then now you have this one here. And you have this like pentagon structure. From this vertex is a structure like that. Okay. And this pattern continues. Okay. And then you have this one. And then you have, so this here, you can make them red like that. And then this one here, can make them like purple inside. Shade. And then now here, you would then have some little bones, a bond here like this. And this is like an arrow. And okay, these must just be identical. Okay, these must just be identical. Every moment. Okay. Now let's look at the labels. Here we put capital A, G, A, G, T. Okay. Here I put a double bond. And then you have this here. And then here you put like a double bond like this. And then you have this C-shaped structure. You put a double bond like this. Put a double bond like this. Okay. And then you put a double bond like this. And then you put some letters here. T, C, T, C, A. And then now, hey, right, so we're drawing here. And then now here you're gonna do this. Okay. So you have this. You have this. Okay. And then now you have this. And then 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 you have this. What is this thing? Okay, now let's draw some labels here. Right, we've been drawing for a while now. Okay, first we need to make this red. We have to make this red. Now, having made these colors like that, what is this thing, this structure? This is called the phosphate group. It's called the phosphate group. And this one here, the C, is a nitrogenous base. A nitrogenous base. What is this thing? This pentagon-like structure. This pentagon-like structure is a this structure that is like 5 vertices. That is like a triangle on top. It's called the deoxyribose sugar. Okay. And then now there is a this one here, double bond, double bond. What are these things? These are actually weak hydrogen bonds. Weak hydrogen bonds. These kinds of bonds, they are weak hydrogen bonds. But now, what is this whole thing? So in other words, we have figure 4B. What is figure 4B? It's also the DNA simplified structure. DNA simplified structure. Okay. Right, in the DNA simplified, this is the DNA double helix structure. And then this one here is the phosphate group in the simplified structure. So this is the double helix structure, but now this is a structure that is like simplified. And then you're able to see the phosphate group here. You're able to see the nitrogenous base, the C. You're able to see the deoxyribose sugar, the pentagon-like structure. And then these double things here, like strands, like ropes, like strings, they are the weak hydrogen bonds. Let's continue. Let's continue. Now, DNA has a has a double helix structure DNA has a double helix structure which is, we saw that in figure 4a, consisting of monomers called nucleotides, which link to form long chains called polymers, Okay. Now the sugar in DNA is the deoxyribose. Deoxyribose sugar. And is attached to a nitrogenous base. The phosphate. The phosphate and sugar molecules are attached to one another by strong bonds. Alternately, to form the long chains. Okay, and that is shown in figure 4b. And we note here that there are 4 types. 4 types of nitrogenous base. 4 types of nitrogenous base. Nitrogenous bases in DNA. The adenine. The thymine or the thymine. The cytosine and the guanine. Okay, there are 4 types of nitrogenous bases because now you can see the nitrogenous bases like here, the T, the C, the T, the C, the G, and so on. And you can see here the A stands for the adenine, thymine, cytosine, and guanine. All right. These are the nitrogenous bases. Okay. Now we speak about the complementary nature because we speak about the complementary nature because the nitrogenous bases, right, are complementary. Complementary and always join together in a specific order. Right, adenine or adenine always links to thymine. And that is actually going to be it's going to be evident in figure 5A. Okay, there's certain things like your guanine as well. Okay, now this one always links to, or it always links with, can you use any of them? Always links with cytosine. We're going to see that one in figure 5B. Okay. So what we're effectively saying is you have a figure here. And then you have this one. And then here you have this. Like that. And then there's a T inside. And this is adenine or adenine. And this one, the T stands for your thymine. And then there's this one here, like a dome like this. G is called guanine. This one. Okay. There's this one that is like so. cytosine. Okay, if you look at figure 5a, goodness me, right? This figure 5a is showing two of the nitrogenous bases. There are 4 types of the nitrogenous bases in DNA, but in figure 5a, we're showing 2 of them. We're showing only, not all 4 in figure 5a, we are showing 2, adenine and thymine. So, my goodness me, you have adenine with thymine. Okay, what about these ones? In figure 5b, you have guanine with cytosine. Guanine is cytosine. Now, I want us to speak about the pairing of these. These pairing of bases means that 2 strands of DNA are joined together, forming a long ladder ladder-like structure. The nitrogenous base nitrogenous bases are held together by weak hydrogen bonds. Hydrogen bonds. The ladder-like structure becomes coiled. Coiled and is known as a double helix structure. A double helix structure. The DNA strands wind around proteins. which are known as keystones. All right, let's give a home activity. Right, let's give a home activity for you to try at home. What is the home activity? Number one, state the 4 types of nitrogenous bases in DNA. State the 2 locations of the DNA in a cell. 3, what are the 2 types of nucleic acids in the human body? Label the nucleotide structure. Label the nucleotide structure. So if we draw this, then you need to just label and tell us what is this block, what is this pentagon, what is this circle. Label. Right, so this is enough. Right, I must thank you guys for joining us today, and I'm gonna see you again Okay, you can join me tonight. It's 8:30 p.m.
So I'm
Okay.
gonna continue with life science.
I will see what to do. Any of the three, any of the math, the physics, the chemistry, the life sciences. I will see which one.
No problem, sir.
Okay, thanks, Sor. I will see you guys at
Bye,
8:30
sir.
p.m. at night. Okay, so yeah, the link must be the same link. The same link I sent you now, but I'll just send it again. But yeah, we shall
No,
continue. And then you can just try this home activities. Just it has some of the things we're discussing here, but there are more things that we're going to do in life sciences, but also going to do past exam questions, but we're still covering the background information. We're yet to have a lot of discussions on these things. Now we're just scraping the surface, but there are lots of details we shall speak about when it comes to life sciences and the other subjects. Okay, I thank you guys for joining us today. See you tonight at 8:30 p.m. Okay.
bye.
Bye,
Sir.
guys. Goodbye, guys. Bye.
Sunshine.
Hey, you're still here. All right. This did not end. I'm just ending now. Okay. I'm going to make the video available. Thanks, Lerato. I'm ending the meeting.